I've spent the last 5 years talking about neoliberalism and how it is a destroyer, how it is the cancer that has brought us to a point where the evils that you're watching today are happening. I hate Donald Trump. Absolutely hate the guy. Cannot stand to hear him talk, can't stand to see him speak, can't stand anything about him. But when I watch Joe Biden, and I think back to the crime bill, and I think back to him bragging about everybody was going to get the death penalty, basically. The only thing that didn't get the death penalty was, like jaywalking or something like that. And I look back at every time the man tried to cut Social Security. And I look back at every time he celebrated and pushed us to go to war. And I look at every single time Joe Biden has been on the wrong side of an issue. Every single time I've watched him be on the wrong side of an issue. And I have fought against the same very things that man stands for. Now all of a sudden, a guy who couldn't even get in 5th place, he wasn't even your 5th choice in the primaries, suddenly the nominee. What democracy, what election, what anything, right? All of a sudden, Joe Biden is your nominee? Get out of here. And Kamala Harris couldn't even get a single delegate. She was one of the worst candidates out of the entire Democratic field. But she's now the vice presidential candidate. So you got two people no one in America wanted whatsoever. I mean, clearly, no one wanted them. No one wanted these people. But now all of a sudden, they're there. And good friends are fighting with each other over whether to support this warmonger, this guy who celebrated Iraq, who celebrated Afghanistan, who pushed us into Syria, who was avidly involved in Libya. You name it, every step along the way, Joe Biden has been on the wrong side of it. He has been on the wrong side of the drug war. He has been on the wrong side of mass incarceration. And as you see people in the streets today, as you see Black Lives Matter in the streets, and many, many, many progressive allies who remember the Dakota Access Pipeline, when Obama's teams sat there and turned the water guns on the protesters and the people that were protecting the water for the indigenous people. When you remember these things, and now all of a sudden, Joe Biden is your standard bearer? Are you kidding me? This isn't about Donald Trump. So at the end of the day, you've got two horrific people vying to be the leader of the free world, the leader of the movement. And the only thing I can tell you is that they both are going to do massive destruction. Neither one of them is going to help anyone. So I ask you, who is going to keep the Emily's Listers in the streets? Who is going to keep the pussy hats in the streets fighting? Is it Biden? Or will they be going, oh, we're going back to brunch? Or will it be Donald Trump, who every single one of us hates? Who is going to keep people ready to fight for Medicare for all, which Joe Biden has already said point blank he will veto? Which one of them is going to keep us building and uniting and organizing and fighting back, instead of having to spend all of our time defending socialism when Joe Biden hates the term socialism? There's nothing about Joe Biden that's socialist in any way, shape, or form. None of the stuff. So I ask you again, who is going to keep you in the street? Is it Joe Biden? Do you think the Emily's Listers will stay out there fighting fist in the air when Joe Biden's in power? Or how about if Joe Biden leaves office early and gives over the reins to Kamala? And then we have an 8-year reign of Kamala, or another 12-year reign, because let's say Biden finishes 4 years and then the Democratic Party's already showed us how they run their primaries. Their primaries are not something, they've already went to court. They went to court and fought tooth and nail to show you that they don't give a shit about democracy. And they are going to sit there and they are going to not let an AOC run for president. Or if she does, she won't have a chance because they have already anointed Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the heir apparent of the Democratic Party. This has got nothing to do with Trump. This is all about what we fought for. You already know that the Neratandans of the world are going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh at you because they got you again, because you're a Bernie bro. Even if you're a woman, even if you're a black person, you're a white, angry Bernie bro. They're bad people. They're not good people. They're awful people. And they did everything they could to stop Bernie Sanders. They are not good people. They are very, very bad people. And when we go to war, because let's be fair, every time a Democrat is in office, what does he do? He takes us to war. Obama had more blood on his hands from wars than even W. My God, W. And let me tell you the difference. When W took us to war, all you got to do is go out and look at System of a Down's song Boom. Go look up the song Boom on YouTube and see System of a Down. And you could see all the crowds when everybody was anti-war. Do you remember when we were anti-war in this country? Well, let me tell you, under W, we were anti-war. Even Republicans became anti-war. But the minute Obama came into power, the Emily's Listers of the world went back to brunch. They were all hope and changed out the wazoo. They didn't protest a single one of those wars. Not one. Not one. And before, they had a super majority, a super freaking majority. House, the Senate, the White House. And they still took the public option off the table without any issue whatsoever. They gave up before the Republicans even fought them. Now, I'm telling you this because as we go into this, you're going to be stuck in a situation where right now you're used to all of us being ready to fight against Donald Trump. We're all in it together, remember? We're united. But the minute you have Joe Biden in there and Joe Biden takes us to war, watch every Emily's Lister suddenly become, well, you know, Russia interfered with the elections. We got to go after the Russians. Every one of these people is going to be, well, you know, sometimes we got to go to war, Steve. Sometimes war is necessary. And it's going to be the Democrats once again taking us to battle, taking us to war. And they're going to have all the vote blue, no matter who, people saying, hey, man, I'm at brunch. Don't bother me. Call me when a Republican's back in power so I can get angry again. This has been the history. And it has happened over and over and over again. It's not even a guesswork. It's empirical. Look at the history. Now, I hate Donald Trump. So before any worthless loser tries to say, what do you want, Trump? It has nothing to do with wanting Trump. It has everything to do with understanding that only Donald Trump unites the Emily's Listers with the rest of the progressive movement for just one brief second. For one brief second, people come together. Because when a vote blue, no matter who gets their guy in the White House or gal, they're back to brunch. They're back to brunch. They will sit there and fight tooth and nail and tell you that it's so important that we pass the ACA. We got to give this insurance giveaway. We're not giving you health care. You won't be able to afford your operations. You won't be able to afford your medication. But damn it, we're going to give you the ACA. Not Medicare for all. And Joe Biden has already told us point blank, that he is not going to go for Medicare for all. And a job guarantee, folks, we're in the middle of a freaking pandemic. Millions of people are out of work. The Dream Team, the Unity Team, the Biden-Sanders Unity Team went there and negotiated, went through this whole thing to come up with recommendations. Team Biden outright rejected a federal job guarantee. They didn't want to hear the word a Green New Deal. They didn't even want to listen to it. It was just like, nah, forget it. Nope. No Green New Deal, no job guarantee, no Medicare for all. So really what you're doing is you're making a decision. And I understand the impulse. I hate Donald Trump. Get the man out of office. But the problem is that the replacement, blue MAGA versus red MAGA, is a bad proposition. I don't even need to get into all the history of Joe Biden being tied up with white supremacist movements. I don't even need to get into all the Strom Thurmonds of the world and the anti-busing and everything else. Joe Biden pushed Ronald Reagan to be tougher on crime. Think about this. Joe Biden took a Republican to the woodshed to make him more friggin' tough on crime. I'm not joking here, folks. I am telling you straight up, I am as progressive as you will ever meet. In fact, I consider myself to be a real progressive. I am not in any way, shape, or form for Joe Biden, and I'm not for Donald Trump. I'm for progress. And the only way I see us fighting back, unfortunately, and it sucks, I see us fighting back in unison. Do you want to be that guy, that dude on the corner in some rundown city with a John 3:16 sign that everybody's driving by like you're invisible? Or that poor guy that sits in front of the White House with his anti-nuclear stand that everybody just walks right by? They don't even talk to the poor guy anymore. We need a movement backing us because no one's going to stop Joe Biden from doing Joe Biden things. And Joe Biden things look an awful lot like right-wing, Reagan things. They don't look like progressive things. They look like Republican things. And there's a reason why we're not Republicans, gang, right? That's the reason I'm not one. I used to be one, and I'm not anymore because Republicans are friggin' bad on policy. Bad on all kinds of stuff. Bad on worldview. Bad on friggin' everything just about. But the Democrats are doing their dead level best to say, hold my beer, we got this, man. We can look just as bad as you Republicans. They're doing everything in their power. And I'm watching friends, good friends that I care deeply about, trying to sell me that somehow or another I'm aiding and abetting fascism. Do you understand neoliberalism is fascism? Do you understand that Joe Biden is a fascist? Do you understand we got two fascists here? One of them we hate. The other one, many of our friends will defend. The media, the mass media, will be out there talking about what a progressive Biden is. My God, he's got the most progressive thing since FDR. You think I'm lying? Please, trust me. I don't want to be right. Do you think I get no pleasure? I am so disgusted, like heartsick. I had to keep myself out of the limelight because I've been so grossed out and sick and repulsed watching people that I care about, deeply care about, sit there say they're going to support Biden and Kamala Harris. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, hold on. If Biden and Kamala Harris won the primary fair and square, and I mean this seriously, I'm not joking. Just like anything, I'll go in there and I'll give it the best shot. And if I lose and I lose fairly, I don't have to like it. I can lump it. But when it's completely and utterly not democratic in any way, shape, or form, that is not something I'm going to get behind. And I would rather be dead than get behind that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every bit of my being, every bit of my core soul screams out for truth and honesty. I can't stand living in a fake gaslit world. I can't stand it. I mean, in the core of my soul, I yearn for truth. And we're not getting it. We're not getting it. I'm watching people try to tell me, well, you don't know if Biden will do these things. No, you got 45 years of history to show you what Biden will do. Well, you don't know what he's got. Yeah, Biden has passed the crime bill, the one that made all this mass incarceration happen. Biden was the one that wrote the damn Patriot Act, the one that allowed us to do NDAA and all the things that Donald Trump is using right now. Biden put freaking bankruptcy reform before a damn recession. Biden has made it impossible to discharge student debt. Biden. Everywhere you go, Biden has been wrong. Why is he suddenly going to be right now? Why is that suddenly good? Why is that suddenly okay? And the worst part is it would be different if I thought half of these vote blue no matter who people would stand up and fight back against Joe Biden. But they're cowards, they're spineless. And they won't. Because they just want to get back to brunch. They just want to get back to calm and boring. They don't want to actually have to fight for something. And Donald Trump, sadly, grossly, makes those parasites stay alert, stay awake, stay in the game, stay fighting back. And that's all I ask for, because you're not going to get anything else. Neither one of these people are giving you anything. You're not getting anything good from either of them. But you might get organization ready, progressives ready to fight back in 2024. You might get that. You might be able to vote down ballot and get a groundswell of people like Rashida Tlaib and AOC and others, Ilhan Omar. You might be able to see new folks coming out of the woodworks, young people freaking ready to make change. But you're not going to see that when Joe Biden hand selects all the people to fill out every single cabinet spot, every single house of government. Every single one of those agencies is going to be staffed with a disgusting neoliberal. A Hillary Clinton-like neoliberal will be filling the Department of Homeland Security, the Treasury, you name it. Every single one of these houses of government that depend on us to have progressives in there to execute the policy, to make sure that we aren't screwed even more. Think about how Hillary did Libya. Everybody's, oh, well, Benghazi. You remember the Benghazi? We spent more time worrying about what she did, what she didn't do. And the reality was we should have never done over there. That's it, period. End of story. No need to fill in more blanks. We shouldn't have done anything, but we destabilized an entire region, as we've done around the world. And it's happened. I mean, do you all remember we were covering Dakota Access Pipeline? We had people, boots on the ground out there, and you watched as those horrible fights happened, as those jackbooted thugs came out there with water cannons and rubber bullets and tear gas, you name it. And that happened on Obama's watch. That was an Obama era, that was a Biden moment, if ever Biden was one. And this is what I'm telling you. You watch the jackbooted thugs going out there today to handle Black Lives Matter protests. I'm here to tell you the cages that ICE is using came from Obama. Look it up. Fact check me. If I'm wrong, I'll smack myself. If I'm right, I expect you to smack yourself for doubting me. I'm telling you right now, those cages came from Obama and Biden. And I'm not here to tell you either is good. It's not in any way, shape, or form elevating Donald Trump. The man is a parasite. He is the worst thing ever, except the possible replacement in Biden. That's the only thing. And it's not that Biden would necessarily do worse things. It's that the people that could be fighting back won't. And if you're okay with people going back to sleep, when we need massive numbers to take to the streets, when we need massive movement to get us health care so people with psoriatic arthritis that can barely walk around aren't sitting there outpriced for the medication that they need, aren't worried about whether it's better to eat a bullet than try to take on some medical debt. This is what Biden has put forward for us. I will not support Medicare for all. I'll veto it if it comes to my desk. I'm telling you, as a father, as a man, not even as an activist, as a man, a father of children, special needs, you name it. I am terrified of 12 to 16 years of neoliberal reign that will wipe out any prayer of progressive legislation for many, many years to come. And you talk about the Supreme Court. Let's talk about the Supreme Court for a minute. Antonin Scalia loves Joe Biden from the grave posthumously. Antonin Scalia loves Joe Biden. Why? Because Joe Biden loved Antonin Scalia. And what about Clarence Thomas? Let's be fair. There's nobody that said, hey, to Anita Hill more than Joe Biden. Joe Biden, not Donald Trump. I wish you could point it at Donald Trump. It's Joe Biden. So I'm asking you not to do what I do. I don't care whether you follow my lead or think I'm an idiot. I'm good with either way. I know where I stand. I've thought long and hard about it. I'm asking you to consider for just a moment that forget all parties. What are you fighting for? And how are you going to accomplish that when the DNC told burners to go themselves? When the Democratic Party told us, we don't need you, we're going to bring John Kasich to our convention. We don't need you. We're going to go after Mr. Spencer, the freaking right-wing nationalist freaking KKK dude who's now endorsed Biden. I'm telling you right now, they said, we don't need you progressives. We don't need you. We don't want you. We don't care about you. And it's in that vein that I say, this is not about payback. I'm not trying to pay anyone back. I recognize politics is a blood sport. That's why I won't run for office. I don't have in me. My physical health won't put up with it. My family life wouldn't put up with it. And I've been marginalized employment-wise as an activist for so long that I barely have a shot at getting a good job anymore. It's always a contract job. So with that in mind, ask yourself this. If the goal is to organize, who makes all of the progressive side organize more? Think about it for a minute. Do we organize more against Trump? Or do we organize more against Biden? And I'm telling you right now, there's going to be far more organizing to support Biden than to fight Biden. The next question is this. Who is more likely to take us to war? Joe Biden, look at his history, or Donald Trump, who, for whatever weird reason, has proven himself to be resistant to war? What the hell? That doesn't sound very Hitler-like. Why the hell isn't Hitler, Citolini taking us to the next axis of evil war? The only person that I fear taking us to war is Biden. And then worse, if you've ever been pinched for marijuana, if you've ever been pinched for some other stupid minor drug offense, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are the ones that put the laws in place, and Kamala Harris is more than eager to civilly forfeit your property and to put you away and to allow Newsom and others to go free. And worse, there's not one of them chasing the white-collar crime that created the last global financial crisis. There's not one of them willing to fight back against the freaking thieves on Wall Street. There's not one of them that is willing to take a strong approach to jailing, to bringing back a new Pecora hearing, to take the old hearing from the 1929 crash when Pecora went after the white-collar folks and went after them like they were freaking gangsters and took them down. We need that again. Do you think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going after Wall Street folks? No. I know Trump won't. But I also know that Biden and Harris have that billionaire money in their bank account. They are literally funded by the same parasites that crashed the economy. Never mind the fact that the very nature of this COVID-19 situation, whatever you feel about it, is irrelevant. What is relevant, though, is the economy has completely and utterly been put on life support. And Biden has an entire history, a career to defend, of being a deficit hawk, of reducing the deficit, of wanting to cut Medicare, wanting to cut Social Security, wanting to privatize. I can't wait till he says, I can hear, I'm Joe Biden and I want to fix our school system. I'm going to make charter schools for everyone, right? That's the privatization angle that you can expect from Joe Biden. He's nobody that's going to be fighting for our kids. He's nobody that's going to be fighting for that. So you have a choice. You get to carry the water for Biden. You get to carry it around like a mule. You don't believe in what he's saying, but damn it, you had to get rid of that fascist to get this fascist in, right? So you're going to carry that water. Now, if Donald Trump was in there, would you be carrying his water? You wouldn't be carrying his water. You would be saying, Donald Trump, you son, go ahead and fight back. But unfortunately, we're reduced to two fascists, blue fascist and red fascist. And you could sit there and get into a bunch of games, but I'm a pretty smart son. and I don't around. If you're going to tell me that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are some like astronomically different, you're wrong. It's just not the case. And until we demand better than that, we're going to keep getting Hillary Clinton shoved down our throat. We're going to keep getting Joe Biden shoved down our throat. And we're going to end up being Kamala Harris to death. AOC, unless you find a way to change the way the Democratic Party, which under law, which went to court to fight for this, said point blank, we have no responsibility to give you a fair primary. We have no responsibility whatsoever to give you a democratically elected nominee. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. So what are you going to do? Think about it. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking you to think about it. I'm asking you to take the knowledge I just gave you. And if you disagree with me, I'm okay with that. I'm not here to make you hate me or like me or anything else. But I needed to get this off my chest because it's been stewing and brewing, and I have been tossing and turning, and I have been throwing up and sick and raging and angry and miserable and sad for so long. The one thing that will end up getting me to pop someone in the mouth is some idiot saying, it must be a Russian Putin puppet, a Russian, he must be a Russian. Okay? That right there, that stupidity that these Democrats have shoved down on us is so repulsive, so disgusting, so less than human, so disgusting that it makes looking at Donald Trump, who is awful, that much more challenging. And every single time you hear them say, oh, what are you, Putin's puppet? I mean, seriously, I don't even know why those people are not pushing up daisies. It's disgusting. Okay? You're a Macedonian troll. What the fuck? Where's Macedonia anyway? Do you even know where it is? Could you find Macedonia on a map? Now, I mean, this is the... So when you think about that, and then the other one, what do you want? Trump? What do you want? Trump? You think you're some whiz bang? You think you're some smart dude? You think, oh, man, no, I don't want Trump and I don't want Biden. But I know for a fact that Donald Trump, as he is, he went ahead and won his little primary. The Republican Party didn't try to pull superdelegate games. That was the voice of poor white people, grossed out for sure. But it was years and years and years of neoliberal balkanization, neoliberal means testing, leaving people out in the cold, shaming them that did that. And you know what sucks? They're not going away. And so you get a Biden in there. Now what are you doing? Those people are just more angry. And you've got another feckless leader up there doing more neoliberal to exacerbate the racism in this country that goes back 300 plus years. And all you've got to do is go back to the Reconstruction era. Look at what has happened. And ever since Reconstruction, you go back to Bacon's Rebellion. You have been dealing with the United States government and white supremacy from start to finish. Everywhere it goes. A little bit of bedside manners. Malcolm X. You know what Malcolm X said? He said, I'd rather bury Goldwater. You know why? Because when that comes straight at me, I know he's a wolf. But these white moderates over here, these liberals, they're going to come up and give me a hug, but they're going to shove a knife right up in my back. And Martin Luther King said, beware of the white moderate. He wasn't joking. Neither of them were. MLK and Malcolm X, both of them, said, beware of the white moderate. These people that don't have a deep political analysis, that are just busy looking at law and order, not justice. And folks, that's what we're staring down the barrel at. And I'm hoping that when I get back on the camera at RP and I start doing my shows again, I hope that you all remember that I was never for Donald Trump. I hope you all remember that I was never for Joe Biden. I hope you know that I never changed. Everything I fought for has been the same. I want to get rid of student debt. I want to make college free for all. I want to give health care to everyone. I want to make housing a right. I want to make legal representation a right. I want to make child care a right. I want to make a right to a federal job. I want to expand Social Security for people who cannot or do not want to work. I want to make sure that people have time away from the office, paid leave, real paid leave. I want to make sure that our families come first and that our planet is safe with a Green New Deal. I want to end fossil fuels. I want to stop wars. Everything that you think that you fought for under Bernie, I still stand for. None of it's changed, except the two standard bearers that are up there are awful. I talk about Howie Hawkins, but Howie Hawkins' big victory will be to get to 5%. Movement for a People's Party has no candidate. So that leaves you with 3 candidates, really. And don't even bring up Joe Jorgensen, because Joe Jorgensen is a libertarian. A libertarian wants to dismantle the social safety nets. They're not my tribe. They do support good things like they don't want to go to war, and they're good on the drug war, but that's the beginning and the end of that story. Everything else, boy, oh boy. Fail burger. So that means we've got 3 candidates, Trump, Biden, and Hawkins. And Howie Hawkins, I'm voting for Hawkins. Guaranteed I'm voting for Howie Hawkins. But it's not because, oh my God, they're going to win. It's because I cannot stomach voting for fascism. I cannot stomach voting for fascism. So if that bothers you, forgive me. But trust me, I haven't changed. The difference is I don't see Biden as a viable option. I see Biden as the worst of the selections simply because he's going to put 75% of you all back to sleep, back to the golf course, back to brunch, back to skinny lattes. Okay? You limousine liberals out there, you're going to go back to sleep. You're going to go back to checking your 401ks. You're going to go back to checking your portfolio. The rest of us, we're just going to have our teeth rotten out of our mouths. We're going to end up having to go in for surgeries and file bankruptcy. But for you all, you nice people that have trust funds, and your mommy and daddy fly you around the world, and you have the ability to jet set around and eat at 5-star dinners all the time. You folks, I appreciate that this won't touch you as much so you could be pragmatic. But for the rest of us, which is a vast majority of us, the pain and suffering of neoliberal austerity is unbearable, too much to handle. And I hope to God that you all think about this and get ready to fight. If Biden gets in there, I hope every one of you is ready to fight against him. If he gets something right, I'm right there with him. If he does something right, I'll be right there with him. If Donald Trump did something right, I'd be right there with him. The point is that our battle isn't going to be won at the ballot box because we don't have free and fair elections. Our wins have got to come in the streets. They've got to come in other forms of protest. We have seen they have destroyed the integrity of elections. And until we somehow or another get enough people in office, which I have no idea how you do, given that the elections really are legitimately rigged. Did you know the Democratic Party fought to keep the Green Party off the ballots of Pennsylvania? What kind of loser does that? What kind of neo-maxi zundweeby waste of life tries to keep the Green Party off? You have to be worse than Trump to try and keep the Green Party off the ballot box in Pennsylvania. That's the truth. You got to be worse than Trump to do that. So I'm here to tell you, I don't think we're going to be able to vote our way out of this. And I'm here to tell you that for many of us, we're going to be looking for you, younger people, people that have the ability to get out and fight and take to the streets. We're going to be looking for you all to help because I don't think there's any way out. I think that's it. And you know what? To quote Bill McKibben, physics doesn't negotiate. Climate change is happening and you see it all around us. The clock is ticking. Fight like hell for 4 years against Donald Trump, and I mean against Donald Trump, or live in neoliberal hell being put on the corner under Biden because they won't let anyone run against Harris. It'll be the Biden to Harris transition, and you better have more than 12 years of life left on you to ever think about getting to another progressive in the White House if that happens. But I'm just Steve Grumbine, father, citizen, voter, your friend, your family. And I hope to God that you all took what I said and listened to me and said, hey, I may not agree with him, but I hear he's thinking. You know, I didn't just come out here and spew a bunch of nonsense. The stuff I said, you can easily go fact check me. I try to live in truth. It matters more to me than anything else on the planet. So I hope you guys take what I said, consider what I said. I hope you guys will follow us at Real Progressives. Check out my podcast at macroandcheese.com. You know, we've got a brand new website at realprogressives.org. Check it out. Have a good one. I hope you all stay safe. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.